My name is Blue Bailey. I am the director of The Right. I am partially responsible for the awesome slams that have happened in these schools. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this poetry slam. I just want to recognize the schools that we have in attendance, okay? And I want you guys to make noise for these schools. Make some noise for these students because they're awesome. Let's do an energy check for our home school, Edgewater High School. Okay. What about Timber Creek High School? Oh, Timber Creek. What about Oak Ridge? Timber Creek was like, yeah, we got that. Give it up for Dr. Phillips. Oh, you did go to Dr. Phillips. That's right. Give it up for Wakila. Good deal. Last but not least, give it up for yourselves. One more time. All right. So, you all are about to experience a poetry slam. I know Shelby asked, who's ever been to a poetry slam before? That's not fair. By round of applause. Who's ever been to a poetry slam? Good deal. So if you haven't been to a poetry slam, you are in for a treat tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So we have 10 poets who are going to come up here. They're going to spit their truth. They're going to kill this stage. They're going to beat it. Y'all see this microphone? This is my microphone. This is Baby Blue. You see, say hi.
Hi.
Baby Blue said hi to you. Right? They're going to come up here. They're going to speak their truth. They're going to leave everything on stage. We have some poets that are nervous. We are going to give them energy so that they don't have to be nervous, okay? Because everybody can't get up here on the stage and do these poems, right? Everybody can't speak in front of people. So we want to make sure when they're coming up here that we give them energy, okay? All right. So we have 10 poets. For our first round, they pull random numbers and they're going to go in that order, okay? Second round, we're going to drop to 7 poets. Third round, we're going to drop to 5 poets, and then we'll have our first, second, and third, all right? You guys ready for this slam? Right. So, first I want to let you know who our judges are. Hey. All right. Yes, sir. Have a seat. I got you. Sorry about that. One of our slammers just walked in the door. Give it up for Steve. Now I know Stephen had some transportation problems, and since he came, we're going to make sure he slams and he's going to go not first, but because we already pulled the 1, so he's going to go in the 0 position because it's before the first position, right? That's right. And he's going to be stopped. Y'all don't understand, like I've seen a lot of these kids slam and I'm really, really excited. So, our first judge is Mr. Eddie Figure. Eddie Figure is an awesome staple in the poetry community. Eddie is very supportive of everyone's poetry nights. You have a license, Eddie? Because you be driving everywhere. No license, driving all around the city. Watch out, folks. Pay your insurance. All right, next we have Miss Shelby Birch. What are you, a junior or sophomore? Shelby is a senior at the University of Central Florida. Shelby did poetry at her high school, went to UCF and started her own poetry club, so she is, well, no longer because she's a senior, she stepped down, but the president of Project Spit at UCF. So give it up for that, starting new things. Next we have Miss Mahogany Rochelle. If you need any jewelry, if you like my earrings, huh? What? If you like my earrings, you can see Miss Mahogany. She's awesome with jewelry. She has on her own jewelry. I mean, you got to be a customer of yourself, right? All right. And last but not least, we have Miss Gloria Esteban. Give it up. She is also a figure in the community. She runs different homes for underprivileged children and is in the Department of Friends and Families that she works for. So we have a lot of people who are really in tune with our youth and doing great things. So we normally have 5 the poets have opted to drop the lowest score and keep the top 3 scores. So the highest any poet can get in any round is going to be a 30. Okay, you guys got that? Very important. Now here's what's going to happen. After the poet comes up on the stage, they're going to do their poem, wah, 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 wah. And then we're going to ask for scores. And we're going to read these scores because these judges, they're judging based on presentation, originality, creativity. I did this on purpose so you can mute your cell phones. Everybody take your phone out and put it on silent. I'm just giving you an example of how it should go. It won't stop. We're going to turn it off. Okay, so now audience, when these judges give these scores based on how they feel, how they were moved, how they felt it was original, how Eddie is recording this, even though I asked him not to. When they give these scores, if you agree with the scores, we want to hear that you agree with these scores, right? So if I say, we have a 10, that's like the best form, let's hear what you got. Yes. Now let's say Mr. Recording Eddie wants to give a poet a 4. How do you feel about that? That's right. We will not be providing security, judges. I will not be walking into your cars this evening. Okay, so if you feel the poem we want to hear, you give that poet some energy. If you don't feel the poem, still give them some energy because it's about their truth. So we're going to go ahead and get this poetry slam started. Are you ready for the next poet? No, you're not. Because we have to give our sacrificial poet first. Our sacrificial poet is a poet who's a part of the competition, but they go so the first poet doesn't have to go first. They also give the judges a chance to judge and see how this scoring thing works, right? Because we want these judges to be on point with these points, right? All right, so our first sacrificial poet of the evening, this is a young lady hailing from Edgewater High School. Her name is Destiny Lane. I want you to put your hands together for Miss Destiny Lane.
I forgot to call you on your birthday, but it's okay. You never really been a dad to me anyway. Dang, I really did forget to call you on your birthday. But it's okay, you probably didn't notice anyway. I think it's funny how with age comes change and things don't seem to be the same. I'm stuck here looking for answers like searching for the sun and the rain. And after 16 years, I just gotta realize that, man, you just ain't gonna change. So I might as well pack up my hate and disappointment and keep it moving, because there ain't nothing you can do with it. I have to learn to suck it up and fight through the pain, because that's what black girls do. Anyway, we get hungry and we eat. We get angry and we strive to get even by striving for success and never just slip up letting these scrubs know what's next. I'm gonna show you giving up on me. That was your worst mistake yet. And I think it's funny how people hope to pray for kids, but you have a beautiful 3. I'm sorry, rewind. I never understood why people hope to be blessed with kids, yet you have a beautiful 3. You a tad bit ungrateful if you ask me. I think I speak for all 3 of us when I say we're better off without you anyway. Now I've had some time to reflect and I see why God blessed you to have me. See, you will never understand how to treat a woman correctly till you start loving me. A lesson I shouldn't have to teach, but see, boys like you don't always think. It takes a man to build a home, but a man of God to hold his own. And don't fix your lips to blame anybody, because the blame's all your own. And soon enough, you'll be alone. Because with an attitude like that, people don't know how to react, so they leave. Take it from me, the angel God blessed you with, and the light he tried to make you see. And I'm so sorry, Jason, I didn't call you on your birthday.
The fun part. Judges, make sure you're judging using decimal points, please, to avoid the tie. Please and thank you. All right, judges, on the count of 3, never mind. What is that pocket? I can't see it. Oh. Thank you. Can you write bigger, please, sir? got this color, right? So it could cover up my grapes. I had a whole patch of them. She got like 6 or 7 on her own. Put your hands together for Takai!
It's not you. It's me. Sincerely. Because no matter how hard I try to obscure my emotions with a euphoric personality and a smile so unfocused, I get so disappointed. And I can't hide it. Even though as much as I try to darken the picture that's so adumbrated, the nails of reality screws herself through the walls of deceit, leaving holes that epitomize an insufficient me, the reality of me. So in the colloquy between you and I, when I enigmatically articulate the notion to why I cannot trust anyone sufficiently, all I ask is that you respectfully understand. It's not you. It's me. Because I love to be broken. I embrace the feeling of wholeness, so I can't trust you, because if you hurt me, I will be disappointed. And I passionately despise disappointment because it leads me to believe you don't feel I am important, which leads me to be broken because I was disappointed. Not at the fact that you let me down, but at the fact that I let my guard down and allowed myself to trust you. And I apologize because maybe you are true, but maybe it's not a yes, so I guess I can't trust you. But it's not because of you. It's because of me. Because so-called friend after so-called friend falsely convinced me they were trustworthy. Person after person went MIA when they told me they'll always be here for me, and after replicate the actions of deceit and backstabbing, I realized it had to be because of my credulous mind I'm taken advantage of and I'm lied to. Even though I did nothing but abide by the rules, I was fooled to believe I could trust, and honestly I can. But I won't allow myself to because I hate to be disappointed. And it's unfair to you, but I gotta look out for myself. And you may be disappointed, but that's just the way it's gonna have to be, because I'm gonna choose my sanity, and I have to do me before I choose to trust you. When you say, Takai, you can trust me, and you did nothing wrong. That's why it's not you. It's me. Sincerely.
All right, so while we wait for the judges, audience, Coke or Pepsi? Nobody said water. Okay. All right, judges, let's see. From lowest to highest, I have a 9.3. I have a 9.4. I got a 9.7, and I got a 9.9. Give it up for the poet. Yeah. Give it up for Destiny with a 26.6. I'll have Takai score when I introduce the next poet. So now we ain't playing no more games. We got the first poet of this poetry slam coming up. I want you guys to put your hands together for Stephen Braden. Stephen Braden!
My fault, I didn't memorize this. Alright, I remember a point in time where blacks used to fight for their rights. But now all we seem to do is stand around and watch world star fights. We could get snuffed out by cops on any given night, but they seem to justify that by saying, yeah, you ran the red light. Even though I get checked twice before I board my flight. Rather than fight for their rights, these niggas camp out for Jordans. No room for protesting, these niggas label it boring. It was the 70s when the Panthers used to run the streets. They said, I'll shoot you pigs if you don't give my sons and daughters a chance to eat. All this energy at sea is giving me more energy, more fuel. So I'm gonna keep fighting for my 40 acres and a mule. We need to be more like Kanye and fight our souls through the wire. But you people ignore that by saying, yo, it's 9 o'clock, man. It's time to watch Empire. But you guys ignore it and keep on going. That's why we want to keep on losing. We need less drug dealers and less rappers and more Huey Newtons. We need to stop crowning our judgment and being a nuisance. So I pray to God to give me some nuisance. I used to think I was free before I really knew what it meant. The Statue of Liberty is just another American T. It's supposed to represent freedom, but really we're not free. So when you see me in Q, that's why we raise our fists, to show that we'll remember our roots and we'll never forget the government was not our friends, they were always our foe. Change is never change, it's just another addition to the status quo. So when I speak, I'm not going to stop until our reparations get paid. They keep on working us to death and for only minimum wage. Until I'm really free, I guess I'm really a slave. Shout out to the entourage for showing up for me, man. My ride with, man. It's welcome. Thank you.
That's how you do it, right? No, you gotta hold it like this. Oh, I got hit with that. I'm sorry. Give it up for Steven. All right, so we have Zakai with a 29. Give it up for that 29. And for our first poet of the night, she needs a board, Eddie. Thank you. Give it up for our judge, our fifth judge who just showed up. That's all right, we'll wait for you. All right, from lowest to highest, I have an 8.4, I have an 8.5, I have an 8.6, and I have an 8.9. Give it up for the poet. Eight. All right, so our next poet was ready when the sacrifice came. She said, Blue, I'm ready. And we have Mark on deck, who's gonna go stand where the current poet is. Hint, hint, hint. All right, so I want you guys to put your hands together for our next poet coming to the stage. Give it up for Shay.
Go Shay! Go get Shay!
Hello. Does he not understand the way he touches me, kisses my hand? It drives me crazy. Does he mean it? Maybe. That still don't change how I feel. He has my mind racing like a race car wheel. Does he know I truly love him, that hurting him will be my end? I don't think he understands that every game he plays, I'm in a stand. He don't play no sports though. But I'm still on that, I'm your biggest fan flow. So I let him play his game. Mortal Kombat, Call of Duty, I don't know the names. But you know what? He's my Captain America. No, I'm not talking DC Universe, duh. I'm on that Marvel, at whatever he has to say. I know I'm not writing these words to play. I wanted to tell him that he leaves me in a daze because he takes my mess and craze. It's truly amazing because every day, month, year, it's the same damn thing. He just takes it. That right there, I like it. So yeah, I'm gonna say hello because I'm gonna be her. My voice ain't love. Baby, I just wanted to say, I love you too, and I go to the ends of the earth for you, boo. Thank you.
All right, give it up, Stephen with a 25. Judges. All right. From lowest to highest, I had, is that a 0? So dramatic, I just asked if it was a 0. I have an 8. I have an 8.3. I have an 8.5. I have an 8.6, and I have a 9. Give it up for the poet. Yes. Okay. Grey's Anatomy or Scandal? I know, but I love both of them. I don't know. All right, so our next poet is hailing from Wekiva High School. School, 10th grade from Macabre High School. I want you guys to put your hands together for Mark.
Well, it was like one day I had it all. But strange feelings had me feeling like I didn't. Just putting pieces together to try to find what I was missing. The Lord speaking to people, you might catch it if you listen. It's twisted. How the devil always in your business. My life is given by Jesus, I must be gifted. Through hard times we struggle the most, even if you worship the Lord, that's just how it goes. My vision when my eyes closed is a cross and a rose. A spiritual war, they say believe in your soul. It's revolutionary, especially to angels and demons. For selfish reasons, the Lord was repeatedly beaten. It seems closer and closer for his return of seasons. Blood leaking, to die was the only treatment. The devil reaping, praying to the Lord is only weakness. When I'm sleeping, it's heavy breathing because I'm dreaming. Scars I could open, I never thought that I could be bleeding. Overdose of confidence, I hate to sound conceited, but we just learning from others to try to find out the main sequence. But I refuse to die in hell and come into the devil's slaves. I thank the Lord for blessing us with another day. We learning from the wrong, but we leading into the great. Just keep your head up and stay awake, I guess there's nothing else to say. No disrespect to Dr. King, because it's not about race. And memory of dying, they say it's hard to erase in order to this music, because it's still what I create. Trying to collect paper, but it's hard to make a dime. Especially when you live to feed a family of 9. We living life to the fullest, but we're running out of time. The sun in the sky no longer burning my eyes. Never living a lie, cause I wouldn't take it when I die. Used to have thoughts of suicide, but I keep it deep inside. When the rapture comes, I probably cry and thank God.
Say tactics. Say tactics. Generic breath mints. All right. If you don't get it, just laugh. You'll get it. I promise you will. I promise you'll get it. All right. So, somebody's still giving? Okay. All right. So, for Mark, let's see. I love myself. 4, 5, 6. Okay, from lowest to highest, I have a 9.4. I got a 9.5. I got a 9.6. I got a 9.9 in our first 10. All right, coming up next to the stage, the first time I met this young lady, she asked me to be her spirit animal. I did not know how to take that. I did not know what to say. But I did say yes, and I did agree, and I feel no different, ladies and gentlemen. I still feel the same. I still feel the same. I want you guys to put your hands together for Edgewater's own Deidre.
Deidre! You go!
Why is it? Why is it that the only time that we as African Americans come together is when one of our young black brothers and fathers are brutally and mercilessly struck down by the very ones that swore to serve and protect us? Women, now shameful and tainted, sway their lips with lies and deceit on their lips. Men would rather pull out their guns rather than be leaders, giving pills like broken dreams to our not yet queens in return for 30 seconds of glory, only to turn back around to sell them out on Facebook for 30 seconds of glory. Hashtag Facebook purge. What happened to our unity back then? We've never sold each other out for the fortune and fame and killed each other without reason. Families killing the spirit, yet turning around and calling it the Holy Spirit. People losing faith in our generation because nobody wants to step up to become a representation. How about we change from high school dropouts and single mothers and fathers to college graduates and successful entrepreneurs with family bonds that are actually thicker than water? Let's show them that we are more than what we are and what we were, and that we aren't the disgraced race that was brought to Americans against our will. Let's show them that we can rise up to be better and do better. We need our unity back.
Give it up for Deidre one more time, guys. a 9.5. I have a 9.6. I have a 9.7. I have a 9.8. And I'm sorry, the lowest score was a 9. My apologies. So that's a 9, a 9.5, a 9.6, a 9.7, and a 9.8. Give it up for the poet. All right. I want you guys to say hip hop veggies.
Hip hop veggies.
Hip hop veggies.
Hip hop veggies.
Let us turn up the beats. I want you guys to start putting your hands together. Did you like that? Wait, I have tongues. I have tongues. Put your hands together right now, but right now for our next poet coming from Wekiwa High School, give it up for Rexy!
I call this cognitive dissonance. My mind is a hurricane on better days. Tonight I'm brainstorming. It's hard to sleep through thunder, but lightning keeps me awake until morning. I implore you to think, delve into every inch of gray matter that they've scrubbed clean and find in yourself the truth. Society is a line of conformity, meandering slowly into the slaughterhouse. Look at them as the fools they are. Notice the comfortable insolence, the happy bigotry. They've built themselves a happy home. How deep a man or woman can see when they're coming apart at the seams, making frivolous things the apple of their eye, but then they cry when you chop down the tree. It's funny, when we are asleep, our minds are the most active. It's almost as if we are trying to compensate for the lack of color in the darkness. Loneliness is about the scariest thing that there is. It's when you look in the mirror and see nothing, a soulless shell that walks the earth just barely breathing because the weight of the world crushes all the air out of your lungs. Truth is, loneliness is a form of fear. But love is what we were born with. Fear is what we learned here. It hurts to be fearful, to have no idea what people want and what their motives really and truly are. The bullet wound is temporary, but loneliness can land you in a cemetery. Often we fall in love with the idea of people. Wake up and realize what they say is true. Friends come and go, but you never think that would apply to the ones you have. I think part of the reason we hold on to something so tight is because we fear something so great won't happen twice. Because one spark of kindness can start a fire of love, and slowly we step off the cliff and jump off. But my mind is a hurricane on better days. Tonight I'm brainstorming. It's hard to sleep through thunder, but lightning keeps me awake until morning.
All right. Look at that. Judges already ready. Man, I'm glad I didn't pay you guys. All right, so for Rexy, I have from lowest to highest. Is that 2 9s? We gotta get you guys some new markers. 7? Okay, from lowest to highest, I have a 9.1. I have a 9.7. I got a 10, a 10, and a 10. That was a test. That was a test. I'm so sorry. We need new markers for these judges. I have, one more time, judges. I know, right? I'm so sorry. A 9.7, a 9.1, a 9.1, a 9.7, a 9.7, a 10, and a 10. 2 10s, not 3. Still 2 10s. Give it up. Hey, I'll take a 10. I'll take the 10s. All right, so this next poet coming to the stage, I asked her, I said, tell me something fun about yourself. She said, I don't know. So I said, well, tell me what you want to be when you grow up. She said, with no hesitation, a neurosurgeon or a cardiothoracic surgeon. So y'all already know. I think she chose Grey's Anatomy on that question. I think she chose Grey's Anatomy. So I want you guys to put your hands together for Timber Creek's Hannah.
touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop. Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. One simple action to fulfill his satisfaction. One simple no, but he wants to go. One simple gesture made me feel lesser about myself. From a young age, we were taught to cage ourselves to the world. Stranger danger turned into a game. I feel so ashamed by not thinking it through. We weren't taught to run, but to hide ourselves as one so they wouldn't get distracted by the way we acted. Just because we showed through the skin we lived in. At school, we taught that it wasn't cool for us to show off our bodies, that we are thotties because it's hot outside. When our innocence is stolen, he holds it up like a token and throws it into his treasure chest. No one should ever have to endure that pain. You were wearing a skirt? That explains it. You were walking alone? That explains it. He's just a boy. Of course he's going to toy with you. You slept with him? Wow, you're such a slut. You banged her? Way to go, man. Were you drunk? Were you high? My friend stood by his side, all because he was the somebody, and I am the nobody. They say we're lying, but why are they hiding the truth? They say we'll ruin his career, so they pretend they don't hear what we have to say. They suggested that we should spend all of our time in therapy while he continues to run free. When did he become the victim? Wash, scrub, clean. Wash, scrub, clean, wash, scrub, clean, wash, scrub, clean. No! I will never be clean. He will always make me feel dirty.
I don't usually pick out my hair just to let y'all know. I call this confidence. They asked me why I smile so hard. Because this time last year, things were so different. I was a little bit sad, a lot of bit mad, didn't feel like I was living. But now, I have confidence. It's like my mind, my heart, and soul being strung together real tight, not fond of being loose. I got enough confidence I can walk through hell with no shoes on and offer the devil a cup of juice. They ask me why I smile so hard. Maybe it's my niece's smile. I'm enjoying life now, let me live a while. Let me enjoy the breeze while I enjoy the clouds. And you see, I didn't always have this smile or this confidence. Because when it rained, it poured, and now when it rained, it poured, and now my confidence is my umbrella. They ask why I smile so hard. Maybe it's this nice weather. Maybe it's the fact that I'm alive or the fact that my mom is doing better. I mean, maybe it's because I'm having a good time, or maybe it's because of my reputation. It's really because my confidence outweighs my situation. You see, so long I searched for a reason to smile, but I couldn't find it. My friends were like, he's a funny guy. They thought everything was good. They saw a smile, but didn't see the pain behind it. I mean, I couldn't fathom my situation because the pain from it was so overwhelmingly true. I faked a smile for so long that when it came time to smile, I had forgotten how to. Yeah, and they say I'm arrogant, but they don't realize that I was stressed, depressed, oppressed with myself, not impressed. But see, I've always served a good guy, so I've always been blessed, and that's why I have confidence. And now you know why I smile so hard.
Give it up one more time for Fred. Okay, for Hannah, we have a 29.4, ladies and gentlemen. We have a 29.4. And for Fred, we're going to get you a new marker. I'm sorry. Okay, while we're waiting, what do you call a canary that flew through a screen? Shredded tweet. You're welcome. Right. Look, you act funny, you're gonna be taking my jokes. I know, do it all the time. From lowest to highest, we have an 8.5. Show me, is that a 2? We have a 9.2. We have a 9.3. We have a 9.4 and a 9.8. Give it up for the poets. All right, this next poet coming to the stage. I had to put her in a headlock so she would do her first poem. I had to give her the side eye. I had to do a lot of stuff to get this young lady to do a poem, and when she did, I was very, very pleased. I want you guys to put your hands together for Oak Ridge High School's, it's Oak Ridge, right? Oak Ridge High School's Jasmine!
Alright. Blessings upon blessings, lesson after lesson. This is a poem about Christianity for any of your discretion. My confession, I think I'm Christian, at least I was raised to be. I know there's a higher power and He created me, but occasionally there's that place in me saying, girl, you know you can't call yourself a Christian faithfully. You know you ain't been to church in Lord knows when, and when you do go, you only go to see your friends. On the path to find God, where I began, a lost soul driver and a traffic jam was sent. I used to try my best to avoid discussions about the Bible. Not that I didn't believe in it, I just wasn't that knowledgeable. I can't tell you the 10 deadly sins. I don't know how many brothers Joseph had, and the fact that I don't know really makes me sad, because Jesus died for my sins, so why can't I go learn how He did it? I know what you guys are thinking, but just let me finish. I learned more scriptures on Instagram than anywhere else. I hope me being too honest doesn't cause you to be overwhelmed. Judge not, that you be not judged. That's Matthew 7:1. I hope your perception of me hasn't changed since this poem first begun. The day that you are born is the day that you start dying. Until I meet my maker, I'm going to continue trying, because when it's time for His resurrection, I want that connection. I want to feel the Holy Spirit, simply perfection. I say my prayers, I say my grace. I believe God put me to this place so I can open my heart to you so you can see what I mean. Because I know somebody out there is feeling the same thing. I was a little hesitant about sharing myself with you folks, but these words have got to be the truest that I've ever spoke or wrote. And on that note, Jesus rose on the third day, a sinner's confession, composed of mixed emotions and wordplay, feeling like the owl in the church, not knowing how to find a certain chapter or verse, looking up to God like, man, it must hurt to give your only begotten Son to die for our wrongdoings and have a daughter be oblivious solely to her own choosing, praying every night for forgiveness and no repentance. Don't read the Bible, because those are the terms and conditions of life. Speaking of life, I'm so blessed He wakes me up every day with 2 arms, 2 legs, and a family that prays. And if heaven was a mile away, I'd pack my bags and leave this world behind.
Pray for hope and a peace of mind. Please don't judge me if you don't know me. I'm only human. This is my testimony.
All right. Everybody say paralyzed. Paralyzed. Say paralyzed. Paralyzed. Man, that's the second lie you told this week. All right. All right. Let's get these scores. These are called staccatos, ladies and gentlemen. These are not mine. They hail from the best poetry troupe in America, Black on Black Rhyme. Do your research, you will find out they're just great poets. I don't own any of these awesome staccatos. Is that a 1? Okay. From lowest to highest, I have a 9.1. I have a 9. Wait, did the judge boo another judge? Did that just happen? Oh, okay. I was like, man, y'all are ruthless. I was like, dang, how the judges booing the judges? How does that happen? Okay, I have a 9.1. I have a 9.3. I have a 9.4. I have a 9.5 and a 9.7. Give it up for the poet. All right, this next poet. Oh, there she is. I'm sorry. Doing what you're supposed to do. My bad. Next poet from Edgewater High School. Give it up for Christina.
I wish one day I had somebody to tell my life story to, but instead, for now, I tell them to you. Yeah, you, the reflection in the mirror is me, I'm my own best friend. And sorry that I grew up as the only child and have social skill issues, like switch. I'm free throwing all those feelings you thought I caught, boo. And now all the jokes people crack just reject off my back like brick walls and waterfalls. Said all just aside when I turned 16, because the more I climbed, the more my life got defined. I guess you could say prayer and patience paid off for me. Thought I was praying empty prayers till my heart started healing. He put the pieces back together again. Not every move I make, I'll do it in his image. Wish when I look into the mirror, I see beyond the object of seen, but instead it's me and the script of society. Wish a for peace, but instead it does reverse psychology. Wish I could run to my wonderland, but reality is where I stand. So tired of being labeled that my insides are caving in. The monster inside of me is fed up, and now it's time to shout. Well, never thought I could do that, huh? Well, this silent killer has had enough sons for so many years that my new name is Carrie now, huh? Bloody Mary prom queen, and my target is all those bullies who used to tease and taunt me, huh? Keep wishing till my dreams and reality collide and become one, and living the life I pray upon the sun. Keep wishing till my race is one. Never settle for anything under one, huh? And please stop watching my plate because I ate it while it was hot while yours still on that cold front, huh? And if life was a game, then I couldn't stop playing, so please give me like 10 more minutes and promise if I had 10 more wishes, I get 10 more visions. Wish.
All right, so for Jasmine, we had a 28.2. Give it up for the poet. All right, judges, you ready? What are y'all laughing? Okay, wait. Okay. Say half brother. Come on, y'all. I know y'all love these. Half brother. Half brother. Man, what happened to your legs? Okay, let's see. I know, right? Save them. Go home and use them. All right, from lowest to highest, we have an 8.5. We have an 8.7. We have an 8.9, a 9.2, and a 9.5. Give it up for the poet. All right, so our next part coming to the stage hails from Timber Creek. because there are no rules. I want you guys to put your hands together for Lorena.
Applicant 24602, seeking permission from the Committee on Poetic, Social, and Cultural Normality to perform a slam poem for a local high school poetry slam. Hello. I understand my application to be lacking and my personality basically devoid of all the essential characteristics of a slam poet. And when you start to think about it too much, you may realize that I have neither the right nor the qualifications to be up here because I am not gay. I think. I've never been verbally or physically abused. I have two parents who love me and would give me the world if they could, and I feel wanted. I'm not that emotionally unstable or even that poor. And the looks that I get when I tell people that I bought a prom dress a couple weeks ago for $6 at Goodwill don't bother me because unlike some, I can feel pride in my frugality. I have been a woman for as long as I can remember, and black for even longer than that. And I have met people who believe that the only titles of worth I can earn in my lifetime are big booty hoe and baby mama. But recently, I've met others who think PhD. I'm a little socially awkward, but when I'm nervous and or have massive amounts of blood pouring out of my uterus, I can call one of my friends and be confident that they will pick up and listen to me as I cry and or beg them to cut out my ovaries. My biggest heartbreak occurred as we drove by as they were taking the hot donut sign off. Dear members of the board, I know you think I have nothing of value or originality to say and you label my life as okay. But you don't understand that my lips refuse to stay shut and my hands refuse to stop signing the words that cling to the tip of my tongue. I tend to think in stanzas and I've been known to speak in rhyming couplets on multiple occasions. The words dwell inside of my chest and burn verses onto the walls of my lungs, and they refuse to let me breathe in until they claw their way out. They threaten to mutilate the insides of my cheeks if I do not talk, if I do not speak. I know you think I have nothing to say, but my vocal cords say otherwise. They scream misrepresent, underrepresent, overrepresentation. They chant cis, poly, A, bi, trans, pan, homo, A, acceptance. They yell feminism to my big booty hoe baby mamas. They yell pretty changes, but we do not have to. I may not be as broken, but I still have just as much to say. I may not be the girl that you are looking for, but the words still burn. And that is not okay. Men, women, and other kin of the board, I am not okay with just okay.
All right, so from lowest to highest, I have a 9.8. 10, 10, 10. That's easy math. Thank you very much. So, 26.8 for Christina. And our last call of the first round is Amy. I said, Amy, tell me something interesting about yourself. She said this is her first poetry slam. So I know y'all will do everything to make her feel as welcome as possible. Give it up for Timber Creek, Amy!
sharp as your words, or the knives that slice me apart. Cut the cheese. That's a funny one, but when I do, no one laughs. They say it's just a phase. They say it'll get better as I age. They say I just need to be more mature. But they don't understand how I feel. I mean, sometimes I don't understand how I feel. All I know is I get so blue sometimes, and I never feel like I'm good enough. And it's all because of you. Because if you were a cheese, you'd be a monster. And I know I make really bad puns when I'm nervous, but my sanity feels like it's hanging on a string cheese that's being peeled away slowly until there's one thin strand left about to snap. It would be so easy to comply, to fit in, to let you slice me away until there's nothing left of me, but sometimes a small spark of rebellion flares in my rind. Can I be more than what people think of me? You put me in a certain packaging, on a certain slot, on a certain shelf. I want to be more than a dairy product. I want to be me. And I don't know what that is yet, but I want you to know that I refuse to stay in your packaging, on your slot, on your shelf. I refuse to let you carve me into what you want me to be. So go ahead and tell me I won't make it. Try to put me down, try to make me feel probe alone, because no matter what you say, I am not going to stop trying to be more than what you say I can be. And I am not going to stop making cheesy puns. So you might as well put away your cheese grater. Because you can't make me into what you want me to be. And that goes for all of you cheeses out there who feel out of place on your shelf. We are more than good enough. We are allowed to make ourselves into what we want to be. And I won't let anyone tell me otherwise. So get ready. Because I am 98% love and hope and compassion and waiting for a better day. And I am 2% milk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the first round. Give it up for every poet that touched this stage in the first round. Oh, that's right. Don't judge me. All right, let's get these scores. From lowest to highest, I have a 9.5. I have another 9.5. I have a 9.7. I have a 9.8. And I have a 9.9. All right, so since we've reached the end of our first round, we're going to break the monotony a little bit. We have this awesome dancer. His name is Squirrel. He's going to come up and do an awesome dance while I calculate the scores and determine who's going to the next round of this poetry slam. So, this young man has been dancing since he was 4 years old. I think he's like 5 or 6 now. His greatest accomplishment is that he's won the Edgewater talent show 4 times in a row. Dude's bad, right? And he just graduated, so he's not like 30 and that's his greatest accomplishment. Like he's still young, right? So I want you guys to put your hands together for Squirrel! We got 10. How many 10s we got for squirrel? Is that a 4? No, I'm just playing. That's it. But no, what does it say? Oh, y'all laughed at that. Okay. All right. So, Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
Neither. I agree. MySpace. Okay. That's sorry. Forever stamps. Okay. So, we went from 11 poets in the first round. We're going to drop down to 7 poets. Okay, so we took the 7 highest scores. These poets will be going in order from highest score in the first round to lowest score in the first round. Now, I'm going to give you guys the names of the poets who will not be going to the second round, okay? We're going to applaud them. Because the point is not the point is the poetry. It just happens to be the poetry. Okay? So I want you guys to give it up for Steven. Give it up for Miss Shay. I want you guys to put your hands together for Fred. Put your hands together for Miss Christina. And coming in this order, which I haven't put in order yet, but I do know the first poet of the second round, which I'm going to share with you right now. Coming in with a perfect score of a 30 in the first round. Give it up for Miss Lorena. Yes, it's the second round. It's second round, so yes, ma'am. Give it up for Miss Lorena.
Dear skinny girls, I know what you probably expect from this poem, but we need to get one thing straight. I don't hate you. My goal for the next few minutes is to convince you of this. You see, after 17 years of living in it, I can confidently say that I love my body. I love my ex-soccer player calves and my seemingly immaculate thunder thighs. My childbearing hips that will be bearing no children in at least the next 10 years. My washboard flaps and the joys of finally finding a pair of pants to fit them all. I love it. And I don't know why you think I shouldn't. Dear skinny girls, I don't hate you. I prefer to save my hate for chub rub, ingrown hairs, Justin Bieber concert movies, and anyone who dares use the term the homosexual agenda. Dear skinny girls, I don't hate you, but I do envy you. Just a little bit. I envy that you can see people of your body size represented in the fashion magazines I'm always too afraid to buy. I envy that you don't have to worry about breaking dress code, or at least getting caught for breaking dress code. I envy that people don't look at you and don't automatically assume that you're lazy or unhealthy or must hate yourself. But you and I both know that sometimes skinny can turn into never skinny enough. I do have one thing that you want, well, 2. And if you want them, they are all yours because I desperately want to know what it feels like to only have to wear one sports bra at a time. And I really, really want to have a conversation with a guy without having to constantly worry whether or not he's looking directly down. Dear skinny girls, I don't hate you. Cosmo says I'm fat. And to be honest, I am thoroughly okay with that. I don't need to compete with you. Heck, I don't want to compete with you. It's not worth my time because I love my body. And I am not afraid to say it. And sometimes I think the world would be a much nicer place if people said that more often. If girls said that more often to themselves and to each other, because dear skinny girls, you and I aren't that different after all. Fat girl, sexualized. Skinny girl, sexualized. Fat girl, make less money than man. Skinny girl, make less money than man. Fat girl, want respect. Skinny girl, want respect. Fat girl told, you can never become a model. Skinny girl told, you should probably stick to modeling. Please don't understand. Please understand that this fat girl doesn't hate you. This fat girl says, let's be friends.
Man, this poetry is awesome. Give it up one more time for Elena. All right, judges. Oh, that's so cute. From lowest to highest, I have a 9.6. I have a 9.8. I have a 9.9, a 10, and another 10. Give it up for the boys. Okay, so the difference between the second and third poet in the second round was 0.1. Ladies and gentlemen, it goes down. Okay, so the next poet coming up to the stage, I want you to put your hands together for Rexy.
My black is beautiful. For years, I have lived in a world full of uncertainty and contradictory, where they say there's beauty in diversity, but then in the next breath, they try to make us all the same. No change, but still in the midst of all this doubt, I have found hope and a way out because I discovered that my black is beautiful. My curls, my thicker thighs, and my brownish eyes, and the rhythmic beat of my heart like a drum line. My black is beautiful. If I were to have a voice, loud enough for every soul, heart, and mind to hear, I would tell them how beautiful they are, that inside of every one of us is a shining star waiting to be revealed. Some of us have been broken, but I know of one who heals. I would say the girls of every age race inside that they are to be treasured and that their bodies are a prize. I would say boys, whether they be toddlers or old men, regardless of their skin, you can be anything you want to be. Shape your own reality. I believe my words can speak life into damaged worlds, and my rhymes can help them find peace of mind because my black is beautiful. And so is their white, brown, pale, and tan. Our colors of the rainbow should be holding hands. I tend to dance when I see my reflection in the mirror, and my perception is clearer. The love of myself is dearer than my mother, closer than my brother, because I realize no one is above her. Oops, I meant to say me. Sorry, sometimes I get lost in my own reality, caught up by the gravity of my infatuation with the nation of beauty in my brain. To others, my quote-unquote cocky attitude can be a pain, but like most people, at some point, when I wanted to find a girl who loved me, I couldn't break her free, so now I have black beauty in everything.
All right, from lowest to high, I have a 9.4. I have a 9.
Me again. I've come to talk to you about my friend. At age 8, a clot in her blood caused her mind to blank. She visited the Palace of Light only to return to her own hell. Her arm was paralyzed, and what did you do, God? You added more of a burden to her already flawed life. At 8, she was playing in gym when the alarm of fire started ringing in her ears. She collapsed, crushing her head. Body like a rag doll, arms like spaghetti, uncontrollable shaking, but not in fear. Her mind is playing a game by creating a never-ending storm. Another trip to the hospital, the shaking does not stop. Heart pounding fast, but what could she do? She was going to do great things, God. And then you did this to her. Why? Why, God? Why would you do this to such an innocent child? Do you hear her, God? Do you hear her as she screams into her pillow, weeping as the sky grows cold and dark? The friends she once had now cower away from the girl at Chase. Her only friend is depression as it welcomes her into one everlasting hug. Daddy's little girl isn't the little girl he left behind. Her only escape is a camp in the summer. She feels like she finally belongs somewhere. She's happy there. She feels accepted. Did you know she doesn't believe? She thinks you left her, abandoned her like some orphan. I always try to tell her that you only give your children what you think they can handle, but she's breaking, God. She can't handle the pain anymore. She tries to tell me that she's okay, but we both know better than that. Everything is not what it appears to be. At 16, she has never experienced love. In her mind, everybody hates her. They make fun of her. She wishes she were dead. Stop laughing. How can you just sit there and let this happen to her? Why? Why does your strong children take on the weak as they each slowly start to break? I'm worried, God. I'm scared she's going to visit you sooner than planned. Can you hear me, God? This is your daughter pleading for you to let her know you care about her. Watching her go through life not knowing when the next will strike makes her the strongest person I've ever met. I want so much to help her, to take her pain away. Can you hear me, God? Are you there?
While we're waiting for the scores, I would like to thank the sponsors of the poetry clubs at the individual schools. If you could please stand, if you're in the building, if you had a slam at your school to help facilitate the slam to get these young people here tonight, if we could recognize these people, right? And we also have Ms. Martin, who's a sponsor here, who's in the back or running around doing a lot of stuff, making it happen. So we had a lot of great people that played into getting these students here. All right, judges. From lowest to highest, I have an 8.5. Put it down. Keep it down. I have an 8.8. I have an 8.9. I have a 9, and I have a 9.7. Give it up for Hannah. All right, next poet in the second round. I want you guys to put your hands together for Miss Amy.
I don't have it, okay? I'm sorry I don't. I see the way you look at me, the disappointment in your eyes is palpable, and I feel so bad about it. And I am sorry, Mr. Stano, but I don't have last night's homework. It's just, no offense, not high on my list of priorities to get my world history homework completely done. Partly because I am a procrastinating perfectionist, which is not a good combination. And partly because right now, my world seems hard enough to understand without the addition of the rest of it. And I don't want to give you a stupid excuse. I don't want to tell you that my Wi-Fi went out or that I lost it, but my motivation went out. And finding the focus to do it is like finding finding a piece of hay in a needle stack. Because somehow depression whispers into my ear that playing 2 hours of Tetris instead of getting my vocab completely done will make it better. Newsflash, it doesn't. It's just so satisfying to put one of those long straight pieces in the perfect spot and get rid of 4 rows at a time, and I tell myself just one more game. But it's 27 one more games later, and it's the end of the day, and I've got nothing done, and I hate myself for it. It's a vicious cycle, a positive feedback reaction, if you will, and that's a biology term. I wouldn't expect you to get that being a history teacher. Do you see how it feels to not get things? I want to get them, I really do. I want to be able to focus and understand. Please don't take this the wrong way. But I wouldn't expect you to get that. I mean, you're a grown-up. And most grown-ups lose the ability to understand kids like I've lost the ability to understand your lectures. I mean, look at you. You have your life together. You don't rave facts about World War II, and yes, your hair is gone, but we all think it makes you look more dignified. And a bit like Dr. Evil, but that's not the point, Mr. Stano. The point is, it stings just a little bit when my hand is the only one in the air and you look straight past me and pretend it's not. I know I'm not the best in your class. I know I fell asleep taking your notes yesterday, but I also know that I know the answer if you just give me a chance. And I know that's not exactly fair, but I don't want to stand before you stammering out, I don't really have a real excuse, I was just sad last night, it's just there. It's just, you teach about real battles in history class, and the ones in my head seem so insignificant. There's no clear sides, no winners or losers, just chaos and conflict. And that's not like the battles you teach in your class, Mr. Stano. And maybe that's why I can't quite get them. You see, poets like me, we talk about how depression makes you lose the shine to your eyes, how it makes you cry yourself to sleep every night, how it makes you cut yourself open both figuratively and literally. We don't talk about how we play Tetris for 2 hours instead of doing our world history homework. And maybe that's why you don't quite get it. Maybe this will explain it a little better. So I'll make you a deal, okay? I'll try harder to understand the world. If you try just a little harder to understand mine.
All right, while we're waiting for the judges, I'll go ahead and give you the scores. For Lorena, we have a 29.7. For Rexy, so far, 28.7. And for Hannah, a 26.7. Give it up for the poets. All right, judges. From lowest to highest, I have a 9.0. I have a 9.3. You've seen him once before. You will see him again. Put your hands together for Mr. Mark.
Okay. I can be particular, familiar. You a true wise man if you know the false information that they're giving you. Don't talk too much because it'll be easy to get rid of you. No matter what you've been through. You see, to them, you're just an option on the menu. And I know that I'm an image of God. Trying to move my way around these fake phonies and frauds is a special feature presentation, nothing like a collage. But do you get it? Are you with it? It's fulfilling. I hate the fact that you had to be a villain in order to see a million. They're going down like the towers to fall, the buildings, but I've been scammed, cheated, and lied to. But knowing the secret of life, it really can't surprise you. To say that nothing's there, but it can be standing right behind you. And if you don't remember, then let me remind you. Because people say that they can with a tool, but they don't do it because they're just trying to. And if I should die before I wake, I pray to the Lord for my soul to take, for him to break me down and for me to regain the strength to show the world that the talent he's gave me is great. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Mark. Y'all know I have erasers, right? Y'all know I have erasers. They're in the pencil box. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Eddie, for nothing. All right. From lowest to highest, we have an 8. Ooh. Thank you. I would boo myself, but I cannot. We have an 8.2. We have a 9, a 9.5, and a 9.5. Give it up for the poet. All right, our next poet in the second round is Deidre. Give it up for Deidre.
He was like dazzling broken glass, iridescent and pretty. He moved me like God could move mountains. He was the match to my kingdom. With the breath and false hope, he became to fire to my loins, and everything simply burned down around us like a raging forest fire. Like the Titanic and her maiden run, I knew I was headed for my iceberg, but blinded by my lust and infatuation, I crashed into that iceberg. And I sank to the bottom of my sorrow in that alcohol bottle. I didn't care though. I thought that because I was broken and shattered like my dreams in my heart that he'd see me, but instead he cut into my skin and pierced it. Even after I buried my sins like I was in the confession box, I thought that he'd see me as an equal, that I wouldn't have to end up like that unrequited love story. However, he discarded me like I didn't mean shit to him, and now I am simply broken glass. I guess you can't mistake ecstasy for love, huh? Angry, forsaken, and forlorn, I felt like the woman scorned, and hell had no fury, because the cruelty of his intentions after I abandoned my inhibitions, I felt my heart fracture like the mirror when I tried to break it, because my self-esteem was as damaged as the broken girl stepping back. He was my very sky, yet he felt like I wasn't even worthy to swim in his atmosphere. The sadness reverberated around me like this harsh sound of reality. I am no longer the translucent and multi-faced glass that shimmered in the lights. I am now just millions of shards of color. And maybe, just maybe, someday I'll start to dazzle like he once did for me.
All right, so give it up for Mark with a 26.7. Judges, let's get these scores for Miss Deidre. From lowest to highest. I have an 8.
Boo!
I have a 9. I have a 9. I have a 9.2, and I have a 9.6. Give it up for the poet. All right, and our last poet, ending the second round, I want you guys to put your hands together for Miss Jasmine.
Hey, Shonda Arthur. Oh, I said his first name. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of a white man's America. And though I'm not racist, just a little bit mad that my people aren't better taken care of. So if you have a case of simple-mindedness, then I encourage you to close your ears, because this is the type of poem most people don't want to hear. And in 17 years, I never had so much pride, yet fear to be the color I appear. This is why I get so weird. See, this is my theory. And I'm not going to go too far back, because I'm sure half you guys just came from history class. And yes, OCPS teaches about the spaceships, not the slave ships. Couldn't teach us about a black man's feet, but do they teach us about Black Wall Street, where businesses were owned by black and brown faces? Where history is created on a day-to-day basis, and the country was so heavily segregated, and this little town was raided, blacks were getting degraded simply when we were traded. Do you realize the monster that we're facing? Discrimination. Cops' favorite toy to play with. People don't get me wrong when I say this. Yes, it's some good ones carrying a badge, but for every good one, there's 4 that's bad. And when I get pulled over, I always answer politely. But officer, did you really pull me over to see my ID? Or did you think I was riding like I had been selling cocaine or meth? And did you really think it was necessary to show Eric Gardner to them? Once we lose the value of black men, we don't have nothing left. And if my melanin offends you, I won't even pretend to like you or befriend you. Racism isn't something that I'm into. Don't get me wrong, cops don't do it alone. The law backs them up. They even talk on the phone. They say, hey, yeah, I shot this one Negro today. But instead of getting life kind of gets suspended without pay, the government responds, yeah, bro, I got you. Go home to your wife. It'll die down by next week. It's just another black life. So I hope I don't sound racist. I cry. When I hear about my people dying, it really does make me cry. Because my son would be a black man, and I would look him in the eye and say, son, you are a king. Get acquainted and act as such. Follow your Egyptian leaders, Osiris, Horus, Isis, Nefertiti, and King Tut. And when she sit on your throne, get yourself to Cleopatra. Remember my son, Black Lives Matter.
All right. So we have a 27.2 for Miss Deidre. 27.2. Give it up for the poet. Now, I'm gonna ask someone in the audience to do something for me that they have no clue. I'm gonna ask them to come up and do a poem while I calculate who's going to the third round. Sean, but hopefully he will say yes because he's one of my best friends in the whole wide world. Okay, let me give you an intro. Wait, let me give you an intro. Let me give you scores first. So, from lowest to highest, thank you very much, Sean. I have, this is Jasmine. I have a 9. I have a 9.1. I have a 9.3. I have a 9.4 and a 9.5. Give it up for the poets. All right. I'm so sorry, and I promise I owe you one. I probably owe you about 20. So, this next poet that's coming to the stage to do this poem for you while I calculate the scores, his name is Mr. Sean Welcome. Now, Mr. Welcome, I've known him for a very long time. He and I started teaching life skills class to the youthful offenders at 33rd Street Jail in 2006. He has gone on to do wonderful, marvelous things all across the country. He is a nationally ranked, we went to nationals, right? What was our rank? He's been to national poetry slams. He's just done everything. He's now working with the POPS program with Wekiva High School, as well as Oak Ridge High School, guys. Like, this dude is so bananas. He's like, me and him grew up together in poetry, so I know whatever he spits, you guys are gonna love it. I want you guys to put your hands together for one of my best friends in the poetry world and the regular world, Mr. Sean Welcome.
Esau, English for speakers of other languages. It's the classroom in public schools you might qualify for if you have an accent for a smoother transition into the fluent majority. Besides the poetry, I'm a tutor at Wekiva High School, which is like the mall cop of teachers badge. No gun, no license to run anything, but I pace myself anyway. Within my first few days as a tutor, Alan says to me, "Do you speak Creole? You look like Wyclef." I say no. He says, "So you're just like regular black, huh?" Sadly, I say, yeah, funny, but since then I wanted to swallow every Rosetta Stone my stomach could hold, because I really want to help them. They still got flavor, y'all. America's melting pot keeps its seasoning in Esau classes. And if students are somehow dumb because they struggle with English, then Ludwig van Beethoven is a blithering idiot. Place dunce hats on Mother Teresa and Gandhi. Does this make sense to you? A million questions interrupt conversations with myself like, Mr. Baseball, why is it called the World Series when you never leave home base? Newsflash, the world is more than New York and LA. Florida and Chicago, will we ever see clearly across the prime meridian, transcend oceans and embrace diversity? When she cries at our doorstep, abandoned with no blankets, what happens when you mix Spanish, French, Creole, Vietnamese, and Russian-speaking students in a classroom, 2 bilingual teachers, and give assignments in English? How do you assess them? I'm not mad, just never seen this shade of gray before. And then there's Wycliffe, a Christian-based organization founded by college student Cameron Townsend, whose mission is making God's word available in a language and form that people understand best, specifically indigenous people. The Berrick tribe in Papua New Guinea regard the gallbladder as significant as we see the heart. So John 3:16's "For God so loved the world" in their translation starts off like, "For the world sat well in God's gallbladder. Enlightenment by any means necessary. Send them out. Live with natives. Learn the language and translate the Bible. It's a mission impossible process. Easier said than done. Spear to neck, sweat, bullets. Death and salvation are in love. Almost inseparable. Many have died for, in essence, becoming Esau students in places like Papua New Guinea, but crossing the life-threatening line of linguistics is worth the reward. Les langues faront son belle, y no me importa lo que piensan los demás. Heaven will and will always be multicultural. It's gonna look like the most beautiful pack of M&Ms I've ever seen, from Esau classes east to west to indigenous encounters with Wycliffe. We become connected with shades of gray. Shades of gray is all we'll see when these concrete walls of fear collapse, and out of the ashes rises increasing humility to listen.
Thank you. Give it up for Sean. Welcome one more time, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to have friends who do poetry that you can just call on and take their poems. I've done that poem in several places. Everybody loved it. From lowest to highest. I have a 25. No, I'm sorry. From lowest to highest, I have a 10. I have a 15, a 25, 100, and 1,000. Thank you very much, judges. Thank you very much. All right. Everybody say finish line.
Finish line.
Say finish line.
Finish line.
Well, when you gonna start telling the truth? Okay. So this next order was done by random draw. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, random draw. So the poets who will not be going, we had 7 poets who dropped down to 5 poets for the last round. The 2 poets who will not be going to the third round, but we're going to give it up for them like crazy anyway, is going to be Miss Hannah with a 26.7. And Mark also with a 26.7. Of course, in the third round, we'll be going in this order. Deidre going first, Amy going second, Jasmine going third, Rexy going fourth, and Lorena going fifth. Give it up for the order. All right. So we're going to go ahead, like y'all don't already know who I'm going to call up. I want you guys to put your hands together for my spirit owner, because I am her spirit animal. I want you guys. Grease lightning, go. I want you guys to put your hands together for Deidre. Sorry, guys.
Why is it that the only time that we as African Americans come together is when one of our young black brothers and fathers are brutally and mercilessly struck down by the very ones that swore to serve and protect us? Women, now shameful and tainted, sway their hips with lies and deceit on their lips. Men would rather pull out their guns than be leaders. Selling pills like broken dreams to our not-yet queens for 30 seconds of glory, only to turn back around to sell them out on Facebook for the same 30 seconds of glory. Hashtag the Facebook purge. What happened to our unity? See, back then we never killed each other without reason. Or sold each other out for the fortune and fame, families killing the spirit yet turning around and calling it the Holy Spirit. People losing faith in our generation because no one wants to stand up to become our representation. How about we change from high school dropouts and unwed mothers and fathers, graduates and successful entrepreneurs with family bonds that are actually thicker than water? Let's show them that we are more than what we are and what we were, and that we aren't the disgraced race that was brought to the Americas against our will. Let's show them that we need our unity back.
From lowest to highest, I have a 6. I have a 6.7. All right, judges. Shelby drives a maroon.
You won't make it to the car.
Just so you don't mistake it for mine. My car is white. I have a 7. I have a 7.2 and a 9.7. Give it up for the poet. I drive a white Hyundai Accent. Please don't mistake my car for any of theirs. All right. Second poet in the third round. You've seen her 2 times before. I want you guys to put your hands together for Timber Creek's Amy.
The minute you walked up to me and said, "Hey girl, are you an angle less than 90 degrees? Because you are a cutie," I knew I would fall exponentially hard. It wasn't just how you made me laugh with your jokes, and it wasn't just how you brought me a pie on March 14th. It wasn't even how you told me you liked my asymptote. You understood me and my head and the numbers running through it. You made me feel normal in a world where people made me believe I am an outlier. You made so many promises. You and me, we were opposites. You were a linguist who could weave words in a way that I never would, but you simply told me that negatives and positives attract. We were complementary. We fit together perfectly. And I just said I'm not good with words, but notice how I've been using past tense. We began to fall apart. Our differences were too great. You said CAL, see you later, and I was stuck trying to find a variable that went wrong. And I tried so hard to find that equation. And I knew that if speed equals the distance over time, and you were gone so far away for so long that it would take a long time for me to get over you, but knowing that didn't make it any better. For a long time, I didn't understand. I couldn't piece together these emotions. I couldn't figure out how our love suddenly sloped off, and I came to the conclusion that love is like the square root of -1. That is to say, imaginary. But that's not it. There had to be a name for this type of emotion, this level of caring, and then I decided that there was such a thing as love, but it's irrational. Unlike numbers, it's hard to figure out and come to the right answers. And also, unlike numbers, sometimes it doesn't last forever, to infinity and beyond. And this scared me. For a long time, I thought that I could hide from love. But these relationships help you grow. I wouldn't take it back for anything. Even though it hurt, now I can function.
All right, so we have a 20.9 for Miss Deidre. Give it up for the poets. Okay, from lowest to highest, I have a 9.2. I have
ignorance and words of others. That's just how I was raised by my mother. But you know, one of the worst insults I've ever received was not subjected to my weight or the fact that I wear weave. It wasn't that I was the most ugliest person in the world. It was that I was pretty for a dark-skinned girl. And when those words exited his lips, they felt like bricks because they primarily displayed his level of ignorance. I had taken much offense because, in a sense, he had not only insulted me, he had bashed many black women of my ancestry. He had basically said, with me being of darkened complexion, I should have taken his compliment as a blessing because I would never ever be accepted by society that's already got their mind made up. The conflict before was who's in the house or in the field. Slavery still continues, the chains are just concealed. Slaves to ourselves, colorism is a new civil war, attacking us mentally so it's worse than before. I don't blame him though, look at whose mentality he's adopted. All the rappers say light skin is the right skin, so it's hard to stop it. Beyonce's getting lighter by the minute. Let's not bring up Michael. Alicia's one skin, they call it vitiligo. Young dark girls not having something to believe in, because all their role models want to look European. It's the meaning, this concept that we're conceiving. Nights I spent dreaming to wake up one morning and be a few shades lighter. Mother Nature, I wanted to fight her, screaming, look what you did. Nobody would think I'm pretty with skin like this. One day she spoke back and said, baby girl, it's okay. Beauty's not defined by what other people say. It wasn't until a few years ago that it all made sense. I refuse to feed an ego at my own expense. Wake up, queens, you all deserve a crown. Too concerned with the shades of gray, not the 50 shades of brown.
So Jasmine has been teaching me how to be cool. You know, I just walk up. Okay, so we have a 29 for Amy. I know, right? I share the same sentiment. Okay. All right. From lowest to highest. I have a 9.4. I have a 9.4. I have a 9.5, a 9.5, and a 9.5. Okay. Next poet coming to the stage. I want you guys to put your hands together because she's not standing there, which means she's in her seat. But she knows that she is coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, snap it up for coming up next. Can we just have a moment of snapping for it? Okay. Oh, I haven't called you yet. Did you just say? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to put your hands, see my radio, I've been practicing this, you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to put your hands together for the next poet coming to the stage. I want you to take this hand, put it in the air. Then I want you to take this hand and put it in the air. And I want you to do like this. Give it up for
Rexley. To protect this person's identity, I'm just going to call them teacher. But this happened to me. Anger. That's what I felt when they talked to me as if I were a 5-year-old child. I understand, teacher, you've had a rough day. I understand you have your own things going on. Trust me, teacher, I get it. It's not what you said, it's the way you presented it. I'm capable of learning, don't you mistake it, my tone for ignorance. Teacher, how dare you? How dare you call me stupid in front of the class and surpass that by mumbling back, teacher? That is unacceptable behavior. You are no greater than me. At one point, you sat in my seat. Teacher, please. I am more than my grade. Let's have a trade, experience for knowledge. I'll give that to you any day. Don't let me leave this class the way I came. Teacher, just learn your craft. Teacher, answer the questions I ask. If you don't want to be here, then leave. Don't drown us in your misery. Teacher, just hold on. I'm listening, even if they are not. Teacher, I want to be here. I want to learn. I yearn for success. With your knowledge, my life you will bless. I digress, teacher. Do your job. Don't rob me. Teach, please.
entourage.
He's like, I can't see any of you guys. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So, give it up for 28.4 for Miss Jasmine. All right, from lowest to highest, we have a 9.4. We have a 9.5. We have a 9.5. We have a 9.9 and a 10. ladies and gentlemen. For Miss Rexy. Last poet. Okay. Last poet of the last round. You have seen her in places like your high school poetry slam and this high school poetry slam. I want you guys to put your hands together for Miss Lorena.
Due to a rather unorthodox spring break that involved a lot of my lying on the couch doing nothing in particular, and lying on the couch doing nothing in particular with my mom, I bring you 10 things that Spanish soap operas have taught me. Number 1. Alejandro. Ay, papi, Alejandro is hotter than the Mexican desert in summertime, has a jawline that evades your most sensuous dreams, and has killed 5 people in the last 2 seasons. I'm not saying that you shouldn't date Alejandro. I'm just saying that the statistical probability of your untimely death after a period of time of dating Alejandro tends to be significantly higher than the average person's. Claro. Number 2, the butler. It is always the butler. Even when they spend a whole 3 seasons trying to convince you that it wasn't the butler, it was the butler. And the very rare occasions when it wasn't the butler, it was the butler's half-cousin, 5 times removed, Antonio, who was literally mentioned 1 time throughout the entire show. Like, really? Number 3. Don't have sex, because you will get pregnant, and the baby's father will die. I repeat, the baby daddy will die. Number 4. If you have to stop and seriously consider whether or not your husband is having an affair with his secretary, escuchar me, your husband is having an affair with his secretary. But you are the love of his life, or at least the first 30 years of it. Number 5. Stay away from the best kinds of people, because they will always make the worst kinds of decisions. Number 6. Stay away from the worst kinds of people, because do I really need to tell you when to stay away from the worst kinds of people? Do you not remember Alejandro? Number 7. Es muy importante. If you are determined to avoid all forms of heartbreak, your best course of action, my friend, is to lock yourself in your home, never come out, and never let people in. Number 8. Drama is unavoidable in life, pero like, will it be yours or somebody else's? Number 9. Life is like an inner city bus driver. It will not wait for you to finish settling in before it leaves you, and is not afraid to leave you stranded in the cold. Buena suerte, I suggest you bring a jacket. Number 10. We're oh so very temporary, fleeting like the English subtitles across the screen. If you spend your whole life looking at the subtitles and depending on them to figure out what the heck is going on, you're gonna miss all the pretty pictures. And the ugly ones too. But
You don't have to learn Spanish to follow along with the Spanish soap opera. You just have to learn when to look up.
I guess his only job is just to look cute. Okay, I tried. All right, I want you guys to give it up. You ain't gonna say nothing. You gonna say something to me? All right, so give it up one more time for Miss Lorena. So we have Rachel with the 28.9 judges. Let's see these scores. From lowest to highest, I have a 9.7. I have a 9.7. Who knew all I needed was a co-host? I have a 9.8. A 10 and a 10. All right, so I am going to use my awesome personality to pull yet another favor from someone in the audience who just happens this time to be a judge. I introduced her initially as one of the co-founders of UCF's Project Spit. She is bad, y'all. She has been doing poetry since she was in 9th grade. She is a senior in college. She is like one of the UCF ambassadors, which is one of the highest positions you can have at UCF. She has an internship to go study marketing in Michigan this summer, all paid for. This girl is bad. And you're gonna see why in just a brief moment. I want you guys to put your hands together for Miss Shelby Bird.
Only because I'm feeling my hair right now. Quote, Shelby, you need to cut those dreads and put weave back in. Your hair looks horrible, and you look like a boy. End quote. This poem is dedicated to people like me who tend to forget who and what and when and why and where they come from. That regret is nothing but an insecurity and fear, and a self-made decision that was once never questioned nor challenged. So I do not regret the day that it happened. The day I made my way to the salon to go on and lock my hair, I do not dread my dreads. I dread your rejection. As if the reflection I see in the mirror of our skins or the curl in our roots has no synonymous connection to the beauty that was once chained and noosed by the skins of our self-esteem. That we come from Queens with the same curl patterns that held cotton fields in their hairs and spirituals at the base laced in lyrics that we share, the same parts in our head that open the pages of the untold parts of our stories that our scalp sit around our family table, yet I am labeled unpretty. Because I rock locks instead of rocks concocted to creamy crack and Remy, I do not dread my dreads. I dread your unacceptance. I never like to get burned by perms. I groaned at combs. I'd rather bleed blood than bleed product. Straighten my attitude before I straighten my new growth. But all I keep hearing is, quote, girl, when your hair grows out, you gonna look so pretty. You're just in the ugly phase of the process. I only like girls with long hair. End quote. But the rate of hair growth is about half an inch per month, which equates to 6 inches per year. So the time of frame in which I will regain my beauty will be not now. As if the twist of your head depends on the length of my twist, but I do not dread my dreads, for they are holy. For every Rastafari who hails Selassie, for every Zendaya who spit the truly oil and bleed back into the eyes of the haters, for every Samson who's escaped of Delilah, every inch that is grown is a prayer uplifted and a blessing bestowed. Each dread is a request for my happiness. Each lock is God's protection. Each nap puts my demons to sleep. Now I worship a God in a perm box when a God grows from my head in curly knots. I do not dread my dreads. I dread your rejection. And in the real world, dreadlocks will deadbolt my future. But try telling that to Lauryn Hill, Whoopi Goldberg, or Bob Marley. For every dreadhead who's been deemed dreadful. For every woman who hides behind the weaves and caps to distract me, now this is for you. And this is for me too. You see, I'm not asking for acceptance, but I'm demanding respect. Now, you don't have to love them. But if you're still hating on them, then you can suck them. But before you judge them, realize that we come from the same people who take pride in the way I choose to wear my hair today. I'm not changing myself for anyone because I do not dread my dreads. Introducing the next poet to the mic. You know, this is my mentor. This is Blue. Can we please give it up for Blue? She has done a great job, an amazing job hosting with her little co-host. Give it up for the little co-host. But right now, she didn't know I was going to do this, but you know, Blue is about to bless y'all with one of her pieces. So bringing Blue up to the mic, please give it up for Miss Blue Bailey.
Go Blue! Woo! You're trying to teach them and they turn on you. All right, scores for Shelby. We have an infinity. No, wait, from lowest to highest, we have a 100. From lowest to highest, we have a 100. We have a 1,000. We have an infinity and a Jesus. Yes. Giving all y'all a praise in Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior of my life. Here's to being a woman. May whatever God you pray to keep you. When it feels like your hands are tied up and your feet are weighed down. When you need that push of encouragement, but there is nobody around but you. For the tribulations you're going to grow from, but you're going to definitely struggle through for our addictions and our remissions and the many layers we're made of. So we can unconditionally love but can't let go of a grudge or our insecurities or our pride. But the thoughts that have choked your joy till all you could see was suicide and it wouldn't let go. And I don't want to put you in my business, but this one I know very well. Here's to the women who run from their calling like Jonah in the well. There is an appointment on your life. And you might not see it at times, but when God said go, it will all fall in line, I promise. Here's to the women who keep us big girls in fashion. To the men who think we're crazy but don't understand the reasons for our reactions. Don't understand we thrive on passion. Don't understand. We already know the answers to the questions before we start asking. So be honest. That's all we want you to do, because how can we trust you to have our hearts if we can't trust you? This is for the women who go hard for all the women in the world, and lesbians who look as beautiful in their wedding gowns as straight girls. We're curious girls who scream loud to see how much noise we can make until we're told to be seen and not heard, then our innocence is raped. So this is for the women who say what they want, whether you like it or not. From firefighters to it. So you better know that woman's worth, because it might be a man's world, but it is nothing without a woman's work. They don't call her Father Earth. Ain't no man giving birth. Ain't no man killing corporate America in stilettos and a pencil skirt. Bad walk, feet hurt, but that's part of the deal. Melania Usausen, Leland Shelton, Lauryn Hill, Jill, Masada, and Marilyn Monroe, and all the women in this world I will never have a chance to know. This is for you, but when your heart gets scarred, but when you let down your guard and let a man be your God, this is for redemption, for the mistakes we will make because we're women, on top of being human, for playing dress up with the skeletons in our closets, for the babies we couldn't bring home from the abortion clinics, for saying no to the dreams of others because we have dreams of our own. This is for the women who wake up in the morning with a warrior in her spirit, a lion in her voice box, favor in her sway and resilience in her limbs. This is for the women who love so grand they create tornadoes when they blow you kisses. This is for the women who protect their homes with a prayer and a shotgun. And if it's true that a woman is battered every 15 seconds, then this is for the women who have channeled their inner Tina Turner. Oh, Miss Seeley, fix me the shade, mister. During the course of this poem, there is no reason your light should not be shining. If your power is on, this is for the women who are constantly reminded that this is a man's world, but still create the world that they want to see. Girl, you wake up in the morning, love yourself for who you see in the mirror, put your body armor on, and you show the world what it's like to be a woman. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, Shelby, can I have the score? I'm just going to say this before I read the scores out. Silver Mazda, I believe. Silver front parking lot. Silver car, front parking lot, tinted windows. That's all I'm going to say before I read the score. From lowest to highest, I have a 6. Silver car, tinted windows, front parking lot. Might need to. No, sir, you did not come from me, sir. Please and thank you. Okay, I have 9 infinities, a speechless, 10,000, and a law. Yes. Wow. All right. So, thank you so much for allowing me to do a poem for you guys. That was really, really awesome. So I just want to say really quick, you guys see my shirt, it says The Right. The name of my organization is called The Right. We mentor teens who use creative writing, lyricism, songwriting, spoken word, journalism, poetry as a form of expression, just as you've seen today with these awesome poets who've shown their truth. Shelby Birch, one of our other judges, Sloan Prylo, some of our other judges over here, Destiny, Takai, our sacrificial poet, our poets that I've had the honor and the ability to work with in the community through our program. So if you'd like to know more, I have cards. We do an open mic on the second Saturday of every month at the J.B. Callahan Center. I have flyers. We also do writing workshops in the community on the third and fourth Saturday. I have flyers. And I have cards. And also, give it up if you've heard of Brave New Voices. Anyone heard of Brave New Voices? He was on my first, second, and third team, all the way to California. We've placed in the top 8, the top 16 in the nation with our poetry team. So we will be taking a team this year to Atlanta, Georgia, for the staying on the campus of Emory University for Brave New Voices. We will be sending a team this year. So some of y'all should come talk to me. All right, so if I could get every poet who touched the stage on this stage right now, please. And if I could get every person in the audience off your seat, standing ovation for these poets who have given you a piece of themselves. gifts. You guys have to see. Oh yeah, this isn't the ceremony. I'm just kidding. So this certificate says, you have been certified to rip any stage in any city with undeniable confidence through the art of spoken word. Although this talent is great, your potential for success is even greater, not just in poetry, but in every goal that you strive to reach. Not only can you write, you can spit. Not only can you dream, you can achieve. It is your turn to show the world what a poet can do. All right, so y'all ready for these scores?
Yes.
So this was pretty close. Our third round, Deidre, Jazz, Rexy, Amy, and Lorena. 1, 2, 3. So coming in third with a 28.9. I want you guys to put your hands together for Miss. Put your hands together for Miss Rexy. Coming in second with a 29 even. Put your hands together for Miss Amy. Coming in first place. With a 29.5, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for Mr. Reagan. That's right. Okay, so show is over. This awesome event is over. Before we turn the lights up, we're just going to claim it right now. Next year, Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center, we're packing this place out. We're going to fill it. We're going to bring people to hear these kids spit their truth. We're going to create this culture and make it cool to write, guys, okay? So give it up for these poets. Can we get some